Like, yeah, you're an artist, but you have to create art within the parameters of someone else's desires.
No one can ever get my hair right. Whatever.
I walked in and I handed him my resume, and he looked me up and down and was like, might want to go try a Walmart salon.
There's more people that are depressed and down on themselves in this world than aren't. You're not an Olympic coach for a hair.
Hello.
Hi.
And welcome back to another episode of Break Room Banter.
It is a hairstylist adjacent podcast where each week
two friends
who also happen to be hairstylists
break down our weeks in the break room. I'm your host, Hunter Walden.
And I am your hostess, Ericka the Red.
And this week, we're joined by Poppy Kitty.
And this is little Princess Poppy at the end of the rainbow.
That is so adorable.
She's so cute. I've been taking pictures of her all more, like, since I got here. I was like, ugh.
Ericka can't hold focus.
I can't.
On a regular day. And then you introduce a new family member, and she's like...
Hers is so sweet, and she's so soft. She's so cute.
So, for those of you that don't know, I got a hairless cat. We posted her on our
story,
podcast
yeah.
Instagram, so I'm sure if you're listening,
Those
you
are
already
some of my
do
stand
know.
Pictures. I was like taking a full photo shoot.
I know Ericka, like as soon as she walked in, it was like, "Hi ho, kitty."
Squirrel.
Yeah. But I got a new cat. She's a hairless cat. Her name is Poppy. She is a Sphinx cat. That's pretty much all I got to say about her. She's going to be
really
joining
cute.
us.
Yeah,
she's really cute.
It's her YouTube debut.
It is so precious, baby. Anyway, we have today. We're going to talk about Saturdays
Because today is a Saturday.
It is a Saturday, and we are not in the salon at all.
Nope. Hunter thought he was working.
I did, and then I was like, "Oh, wait, I guess not." Let's get Saturday morning. Let's record. But before we do that, how was your week?
My week was a little bit slower the past 2 weeks. I've done like a lot, almost like 50% more than I did this week. So the last 2 weeks were really good, and this one was just good enough. But it felt kind of good to not be as busy. But also, I'm a lot happier when I'm busier. Like, I just, to keep my brain busy.
Yeah,
You know?
it like keeps you from thinking about anything else but what you're doing at that moment, that present moment.
It keeps me focused even to be a little bit busier. But yeah, I had two new clients this week that were like overwhelmingly happy with their hair. So that was like amazing.
You know that cool? Was that white hair lady had to be a new client?
White-haired lady. Yeah, that was homegirl from across the way's mom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which she had told me she was going to come in and that she had she had natural gray or whatever, and that she wanted to do something with it. So you know me, I'm like a white hair, gray hair, natural hair stand.
You're like, yeah, let's throw some gray highlights in it or low lights in it.
Make it dimensional, but like rock that silver, it's just so pretty. And like, to me, I mean, I know it used to represent like old age, or you know what I mean? Like people like, you can't let grays show. Like it's just different, a changing in beauty standards, I think.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm obsessed with white hair. So she comes in and she's like, so I want to, add some color. I want to go brown. And just first thing, I've got all these reasons why you should let your gray come through, or at least just blend it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just blend it out. Don't do opaque coverage. 9 times out of 10, that's not what I'm pushing, And so she was like, I've had this for 20 years. I just want to change. I'm retired. I've got the time. I've got the money. And I've grown this out from a pixie cut. So if I don't like it and I'm over it, I know that I look good with short hair and I can just chop it off. And so I just kind of looked at her and I was like, well, every single reason you've given me here is like the answer to anything I could throw at you to tell you, let's think about this a different way, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, so in that case, let's freaking do it, you know? But then I had to run back to Hunter because I was like, I like need a second brain because I have zero underlying pigment. So like, I need to think about this a little bit extra here. You know what I mean? Like it almost made it hard. I'm like, I'm going to do these highlights, but I don't want to use lightener because I don't have to. And then she was like thinking she wanted something darker, like a level 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just kind of like at the last one, I was like, my brain, I pictured, because she had such a warm skin tone, like a dark ash blonde with like some blonde on the ends. You know what I mean? But then I was like, because she was like, I will, like, whatever you think is going to look good, I trust you. So I'm like, I've got creative freedom over this literal, fresh, blank canvas, you know?
Blank white canvas.
White canvas, yeah. But then it had me overthinking. So I was back in the back, like, mad scientisting it, talking to you. And I was like, okay. And then I ended up doing
nothing that you talked about.
No. I did, because here was my thought, is that I'm going to have to touch this up. And, like, yes, I don't have to use lightener now, but I'm going to at some point. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the cooler tones are what look good on her. Like a neutral, a beige, or, like, maybe not too cool, but I'm just going to do what I think is going to look good. So I did, like, basically, like, it came out to, like, a level 6 because over the white, it just didn't take. I was supposed to be a 5, but it didn't take that dark. You know, it took at the root a little bit, but on those ends, I just think they weren't processing as long, probably. I don't really know. But I kept a lot more light in it, which was, like, a level 7, 8. I think I did a 7 and an 8. And then I don't know. Anyways, it turned out really good.
It looked gorgeous.
Even though it wasn't exactly how I thought it was going to turn out, it was close enough that I was in love with it. You know, I just had really wanted those lowlights to take just a smidge darker.
Did you use 30 on the ends?
No, I used 20.
That's what happened. Because it was a virgin application, and you don't think about the permanent color, 30 volume ends to ends. Yeah. Cuticle needed to be
because
blasted.
it was white.
Yep.
You're right. Yeah. Well, now I know for next time.
Yeah, next time. Well, next time it won't be virgin.
Yeah,
so
I won't need it. But
and how many times in your career
honestly,
have you done a
like,
true virgin application like that?
That's the thing is, like, I got in the back and I almost, like, panicked because I was like, I don't know how to do this without underlying pigment. Like, I mean, I do, but it just was like outside of the norm of how I'm thinking and formulating all the time. And, like, sometimes I struggle to, like, stop and go back to the basics and, like, think it through, you know? And that was one of those moments because I just my brain started going, ding, 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 and then I was like, what am I doing?
There's so many options.
Right? That was it. And then I'm like, what if I do this whole thing and it's, like, not right? Like, what if it doesn't look as good as I think it's going to look, you know?
And it could have.
It turned out amazing. It turned out really, really good. Like I said, it was, if it had been one level darker, which probably using the 30 would have done that. You're probably right. You are right. I know you're right. Of course you're right. But she was happy and she loved it. And she was like, I really appreciate you, like, going with your gut and not just doing what I said because I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
And
she was like, oh, this is dark.
Well, it was like a level 4, what she showed me with, like, some light ends, you know?
Well, when you said, you were like, I'm thinking of, like, a 4, maybe even, like, a 3 in there. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Well, and that's what, because she showed me that, and I was like, girl, like, maintenance. And she was like, I've got the time, I've got the money. And I was like, all right.
Well, her daughter has super dark hair, so it would make sense that's, like, that is probably what she was naturally.
She actually said she was pretty close to, like, that base color that I put on her, which, like I said, that did come out to, like, a true level 5.
And it looked good on her skin tone.
Yeah, really good. So, yeah, I'm just bummed that I didn't put that 30 volume because then it would have been perfect.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm going to overthink about that. I'm going to want to quit doing hair for 24 hours now. I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
She is so annoying.
Yeah, that's true. But so that went really well. And then I had a lady yesterday who she hadn't had her hair done in a long time. She had had I think she had done her own hair and was recovering from that. Somebody else at our salon had done her hair before, but like,
She had a lot of questions.
she did. She did have a lot of questions.
I heard her ask multiple times, "Can I order that?" And you're like, "Yeah, you can get it right up front.
Yeah. I'm like,
You can actually get it here while you're here
have it,
right now."
Yep, I have it up front. But okay, and so I did her hair. She had like a level 5 with like probably like a 9, a goldish 9, and like a 9.3, whatever on the ends. And she brought me these clip-ins that you obviously have to match, but like she didn't book a extension service, right? She just wanted to match those things, and then for me to put
Those things.
match those.
She's having a really hard time calling them extensions.
Okay, side note, I noticed the other day that like half the time I talk, the word I actually say is not the word I'm thinking in my head. And so half the shit that comes out of my mouth, I sound like a fucking idiot. But whatever. Back to the hair. So the extensions, okay, they were not in the greatest shape. They needed to be washed, but you know, she was doing what she could with the information that she had. The previous stylist she had kind of been doing hair for, you know, a long time, almost as long as I've been alive, and just wasn't like in the game really anymore. Wasn't loving it, passionate about it, educated, or you know what I mean? Not bad, just didn't have as much information as we do. So she wasn't washing them basically. And so I did finally convince her to let me wash them because when I colored her hair, it wasn't quite blending, right? And it did need a pop in the front. Like I agree with that. Like I just was so concerned with like foiling her hairline and not having bleeders that like I probably should have put slices in there instead of weaves, you know? So I had the time, so I went back and I redid it and it was good. And she loved it. And she was like, this is the first time I've ever left the salon and been truly happy with what was on it, you know? And she was like, and I just appreciate that, like, because she spoke up and she was like, you know, sometimes I'm always, you know, you're scared to do that. And I'm like, no, dude, I've got the time. Like, if I don't have the time, then I'll have you come back in, like, on, you know, Tuesday or whatever it is. But, yeah, we gonna fix it, girl. We gonna make sure it's good.
It really blows my mind to, like, the amount of times clients say that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never left the salon happy.
Yeah.
Girl, why?
Right.
And it just makes me think that there are hairstylists that are not making or not having that conversation with their guests that are like, if you're not happy, let a bitch know because we can fix it. We can make it exactly how you want it.
If you leave and don't say anything, I can't fix it.
Right.
But if you say something, and I do think it's like, there's two parts to it because you have this, as the stylist, have to be receptive and welcoming with that so that clients start to feel comfortable doing it. And once you do that, then you open up conversations with your clients, you educate them. Like, then the next time they come in, like, you're learning each other. This was a new client, you know?
Right.
You're learning each other. And if you don't have those conversations, then you don't ever learn how to communicate with each other. You know?
Right.
Because not everybody's the same. Not every stylist is the same. You know? Doing good hair is like 50% of the equation.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I had a new client on Friday that said that exact same thing. She was like, I mean, because everyone in the salon was complimenting her hair color that was like months old. Yeah. And everyone was like, you know, the stylist did a really good job.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, she was really good. I just did not like her.
Yeah.
Like, she was not nice, and I did not vibe with her at all.
Welcoming, yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, well, that just goes to show that you could do really good hair but have a shit attitude, and it ruins everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we say that all the time, or I do at least, and I know that you do. So maybe not everybody does, but like if you don't tell me, I can't
Right.
fix it. But if you're a bitch when they do say something, they're not going to do it again.
And it's
going to
keep them from, it's going to keep them from doing it in the future, too.
Exactly, with someone else. And then they're just going to bounce around and be like one of those people that's like, no one can ever get my hair right, you know?
Well, and it should be like your number one focus to give the client what they want. Like, yeah, you're an artist, but you have to create art within the parameters of someone else's desires. You can't be like,
a commissioned piece of art when someone sits in your chair.
It literally is a commissioned work.
They are trusting you to interpret their vision of either what's best for them or what you feel is best for them. You know what I mean? What they want or what you feel is best with them based on what they're commissioning you for.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Well, and I had a couple new clients this week too, and I think that the last one that I had, she wasn't like super in love with it, and I could tell, but she wasn't telling me that she wasn't in love with it. So I was like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, what's the vibe? What are you thinking?"
Yeah.
She was just like, "Oh, well, it's just a little bit warmer than I thought I wanted." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I kind of took a creative liberty there, and I knew that you wanted it brighter, so I just toned it a little bit brighter and kept some of the warmth versus making it a little bit darker and neutralizing it. Do you want me to switch that up for you?
Yeah.
She said yes. We toned it. It was fine, and she left happy, and then she booked her next appointment. But, like, if you don't tell somebody, they ain't gonna know.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree. Conversations save lives.
Save lives.
What do you know? What are we talking about today?
Okay.
Saturdays. We just got off on a tangent.
I mean,
for 20 minutes.
I was gonna say we could just like keep going on our tangent.
Well,
because I had a really slow week this week.
Yeah,
we were still on your week.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I loved it. We haven't talked about our weeks yet.
No, we haven't. But yeah, you did have a slow week. My week was
well, and then whenever I realized I wasn't working on Saturday, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I really should have focused on pulling some people in. But the salon has a new associate.
Yes.
I get to mentor her 2 days out of the week. And so one of the days that I had canceled, she was like super excited and wanted to do some mannequin work.
Yeah.
And she was like, hey, I saw that you're not that busy on this day. Can we do this on this day? And I was like, you know what? Yeah. So we blocked it out and it was really fun. It was fun to do like a one-on-one like class.
Yeah.
But I sent her an inspiration photo. We broke down the photo. So I was like, what do you see? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And then I made her do it again to a different one. And then she did it on the haircut. And I was like, okay, so now you have all the elements that you know, and now you can go mix up your color, and we'll do the class.
Did you formulate with her, or did she do it on her own?
I made her do it on her own. And then I stood there with her, and she asked me questions, and I was like, what do you think? Like, what is your starting level? What is your desired tones? Does this have the tones in it? Do you need to neutralize anything? Yada, yada, yada. And it was a virgin application, so it was really straightforward. And I was like, you're overthinking this. And then she had like the perfect formula laid out. And it was like 5-3-5, 6-3. And I think that was it. Oh, and then she had activator intense. Like yeah. And she like switched it up a little bit. And then I went back over and I looked at it again and I was like, that's weird. And I was like, listen, when you accept that you know what you're doing, you're going to be so good. Because that first formula that you had would have been so pretty. And she was like, well, that's what I thought too. And then I was like, but it's this and it's this. And then if you use this, then you have to use this. And I'm like, okay, but why were you using this? And she's like, well, to do this. And I was like, Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There are these rules. Yeah. You have to stay in between those parameters, but you're doing this for this specific reason, and that is a correct reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that I use activator intense on lower levels.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that I do in the salon, and she just did it because she was like, oh, I want this, so I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But then she thought it was wrong because it was against the rules. Or it wasn't like listed in the rules that she had written down from when we had gone over the color line.
But she assumed it because she's seen you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hello, that's what mentorship is.
Yeah. Well, and not only did she assume it, she knew why she was doing it.
Yeah. She's good.
She just has to know that she's good
she
herself.
Doesn't trust herself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have any confidence to like know that the answer that she has is right.
Mm-hmm.
She's afraid of being wrong.
Well, you know what's funny is she was like stressing in the back about something about her mannequin. I can't remember exactly. And I just kind of looked at her and I was like, I don't like, she's got the energy that like no one in that salon, nobody's going to let her fail. Like she's driven. She's
and she worked.
Interested. She has a good work ethic. Like she's curious. Like she has everything that we need in a associate. You know what I mean? She just has to get to the part where she's confident and she understands that like we're a team that's gonna huddle like around her.
Well, and all of that being said, she's also only been there for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
So like she hasn't necessarily learned yet that we're that way, and I know that when she moved to Tennessee, because she moved here from Arizona. She had a job at a really popular like chain place that is a salon. It's not the one that we worked at, but there's someone on the internet that makes content specifically about how terrible working there was. I can tell you off the record.
Oh, I know.
But like
who
she
you're
had
talking
a job there, and I'm almost wondering if like the short time that she worked there, that they beat her down so badly that now she's like.
I get what you're saying. Well, here's the thing: the salon industry doesn't have a reputation for being warm and welcoming in general.
I know, and that sucks.
And so, like, I had it I was a young, cocky thing, but I also did have it in my head that, like, these hairdressers are going to be bitches. You know what I mean? I don't know how else to say it. And so, like, and then after years of being in the industry and having a lot of those experiences, like, I had my walls way up when I walked through those doors. I didn't even realize it, you know? But if she had that experience previous to coming to us, that makes a lot of sense because she's good. She's good and she's starting out in a good place and, like, I think she has what it takes to go far.
Well, and that happened to me, though. Like, I walked into this really fancy salon in Franklin, Tennessee. Right, I think I was about to graduate high school, or not high school, hair school. And I walked in, and I thought I looked freaking cute. I thought I had on, like, this Forever 21 scarf, but it's like a blanket scarf. You know, like the scarves that are super huge.
Oh, yeah.
And this was also
scarf season.
13 in scarf season. Like,
Infinity
it was
scarf.
fashionable.
It was at the time.
The girlies were wearing the infinity scarves, and I just wore an infinity scarf that was a blanket, essentially. And I still own this scarf, and I still wear it.
I love
and it
it.
is still cute. Anyway, and then I had on khakis, a nice button-down shirt, and like I think like a leather jacket that I borrowed from my boyfriend at the time. And so I thought I looked really cute, really fancy. I'm about to go get this job at this high-end salon. And I walked in and I asked for the owner. Like, I did my research.
Yeah.
I walked in and I was like, I would like to see insert name here, please. And he walked up wearing, might I add, something very similar to what I had on.
Yeah.
His probably costed like $1,000 million though,
Yeah.
and mine costs
Yours was the Walmart
from the Goodwill.
version.
It was the Goodwill. And I actually think I did steal my pants from Walmart at the time. But so I walked in and I handed him my resume, and he looked me up and down and was like, might want to go try a Walmart salon. And then turns around, like tosses my resume at the receptionist and turns around and walks away. And you know what I did? I did go get my job at a little Walmart salon and saved me up some coin and got a fancy outfit. And then look at me now.
Who the fuck says that to someone?
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean? Guys, stop being jerks to people coming into our industry.
Well, and it's like, this person is so wealthy and so like, their lifestyle is like admirable for a young person in hair school thinking like, I want to be that.
Yeah.
I want to have all my dreams come true. I want this to be a career. I want money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to make that.
Yeah.
And then you meet them and they're like the way that he was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh.
I mean, there could have been a way to...
And that's why you don't do hair no more.
Yeah. Right? There could have been a way to offer constructive criticism, maybe.
Bethany does it all the time at our salon. If someone walks in for an interview or they drop off their resume and Bethany sees them, she's like, I've seen her do it at, she did it to CJ.
Okay.
CJ came in. I think she was wearing jeans.
Uh-huh.
She said she looked cute, but
Yeah.
she didn't look like she was coming for an interview.
Yeah.
Or for a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And Bethany went up to her and she was like, hey, I know you're here to shadow today. If you take a look around, your outfit is maybe not like something that we would consider work appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
I do want you to come back though. So I want you to go home. I want you to get a different outfit and come back tomorrow and try again.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? She came back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And now she works for us, with us,
And
not
we
for
love
us.
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
So there's so many different ways that could have been done, but that's my experience is not unique. I am sure if you thought about it long enough, you could think of a scenario where someone, you're blacked ripped jeans. Right.
I don't want to talk about that.
Traumatizing.
It's
exactly.
traumatizing, yeah.
Like, people need to realize that their words have power and meaning.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Like, there have been situations in my life when I look back that are traumatizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I got some sort of criticism that maybe I needed, right? But because of the way that it was delivered, instead of helping me, it crippled me. And that is partially my own mental issue. Like, let's be real. But there's more people that are depressed and down on themselves in this world than aren't.
Yeah.
You know? And that's an unfortunate objective truth. I think it seems to be true, you know, because we all have struggles that even sometimes you don't tell people about. But like, the world has so much harshness in it right now, and like, as a industry, we kind of have gotten like a bad rap in a lot of ways. Like, people don't understand why we deserve to make the money that we deserve to make, and I think as an industry we're doing a good job of that. But like, you know, it used to be this like diehard, cutthroat, political. I mean, it still exists in our industry within, you know, the upper echelons and the hierarchies that exist in the world of hairstylists. But the world is yucky right now, and if you can just be like have a good environment in your salon with your client, with your guest, like a better way. Like if you're having trouble outside of the salon, but you come to work, like this has been the truth for me for the last 2 years. Even though I had gigantic walls up when I walked through those doors, the more I let them down and the more I let the people in that building be nice to me and energize me and like, learn from them and grow from them and like whatever. It makes the BS outside. Like if you have to go to a shitty job on top of having like something shitty happening in your life and then like you have shitty relationship with your clients, like there's just so much yuckiness. So it's like if we as hairstylists can start being nicer to each other and like stop being so catty and like
just mean and bullying.
Mean, because like you're not an Olympic coach for a hairstylist. You know what I mean? Like you don't need, or a ballerina coach who's like, go vomit because you're fat and you're 70 pounds and 6'2". Like you're a little feather in the wind and they're like, you are big. Like this is not the kind of environment we want to create amongst each other. And like if we can be nice to each other, that's warm and welcoming energy for our guests. Like I love how we always have people talking to each other. And like it's funny because Michelle said that about like if you want to help with like mentoring some people, like you just have to have a conversation with me. I really feel like I used to love doing that. I don't feel like I'm in a space mentally to like be doing that because I lost my confidence somewhere along the way and I have to get that back before I'm like in a place where I can confidently teach someone.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, and I think that you have a unique, like once you get over the hill that you're like currently climbing, you have like a step above someone else because you can now coach someone who is in the spot that you got
to.
Yeah, like the spot that you got to and the spot that you came out of. You can coach someone and mentor someone through that process.
Yeah.
As to someone like me, I haven't been where you have.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak to those things. What am I going to say? Like, okay, well, get up and get dressed and go to work. Because that's what I would do. But what happens whenever you can't?
Yeah.
Because the reality of the situation, some people can't do that. And so like you can speak to those moments when you literally can't.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, my point is like, my confidence was rocked by people who had an opportunity to constructively criticize me in a way that could have helped me grow, And
the problem is they didn't see it as an opportunity.
Yeah. And like, I will be the first one to admit that I have had my head all the way up my butt in the past. You know what I mean? Like, a part of getting older is you, like, grow and realize how dumb you were when you were younger. I think, at least for me, that's what's happening. But, I mean, like I said, in the very beginning of this whole thing is, like, these were moments where, yes, I needed some criticism. You know what I mean? But delivery is important. And I do think there are times in life where you need to, like, you're going to get a harsh delivery and it is what it is and you need to learn from it. But there are also opportunities where it's like you don't have to crush someone's soul to help them.
Well, and just because you have someone above you mentoring you harshly and something that could crush someone's spirits doesn't mean that you can't take that as an opportunity for you to grow that person ahead of you. They're not above learning from you either. You can tell them how they made you feel and how that you felt that it wasn't okay.
Yeah.
You can tell them that. It might not be received very well. It might end in you losing that job. But you know what? Like if it's a job that is crushing you, maybe it's not the job for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
You know what I do know is that's an episode.
I mean, we went totally off. Now we've got 3 episodes planned.
Well, If you liked this episode and you want to hear more, make sure you're subscribed to us on YouTube, following us on the Spotifys and all the other places that you can listen to podcasts. If you want to follow us on our social media journeys, I'm at Herrick Hunter on all the things.
I am Ericka the Redhead on all the things.
And our podcast is at Break Room Banter Pod on all the things.
And you can find pictures of sweet little baby Poppy on the podcast Instagram and TikTok if you want to go look at them.
And if you want to support us in an additional way, you can subscribe to our Patreon, and that's www.patreon.com/Break Room Banter Pod. And until next time, remember,
you always have a seat at our table.
Bye.